Let me guess. You feel like stress is winning the battle, that you're trying to control everything, every little detail, every single outcome, and the harder you push, the more it seems like everything falls apart. Am I right now? Think of me something. What if instead of holding tighter, you learn to let go? Because, my friend, this is where you really hold the power in this video. I will share something that will change it up, manifesting what you truly desire without burning yourself out. Which, yeah, it's possible. And no, I am not talking about tricks or waiting and hoping for things to happen today. You will discover powerful principles that will teach you to let go of stress and take back control of your life. The principles will be inspired from Stoic philosophy, and best of all, it will attract what you always dreamed of. I promise you, this is not what you expin, but that is why it works. Are you ready to be this empowered person that you are within? Before we go any further, though, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of another. Consider a story that may sound very familiar. Javier was a top executive, one of those people who always seemed to have things under control, as his schedule filled with grand decisions made daily and never failing, but at what cost? Then one day, while delivering an important presentation to his team, he never saw what came next. His body said enough out of nowhere. He simply could not move or speak. A panic attack paralyzed him completely, frozen. Javier. The man always had the answers. He felt vulnerable for the first time in years in that moment. Something inside screamed, "What am I doing with my life?" With a friend's advice, he did something he never would have pictured himself doing. He disconnected. He went to the mountains. No emails, no phone calls, just him. And silence. At first, his mind could not stop racing. What is going on at the office? What will people say? Everyone will know. I am losing control. But as he walked the trails and listened to the wind blow through the trees, he remembered a few words from Marcus Aurelius, that you must accept everything that happens, even if the outcome looks different from what you expected. Then it was as if a fog lifted. No, Javier realized he did not need to control everything, which didn't come as news. He just realized things got done all the same, and when he returned to town, he did not fill every moment in his calendar with meetings. And so what do you do with that spare time? He created a space that mattered. He was able to reflection time, to take care of himself, time with family. And here is the most surprising part. When he left behind the need to have everything under control, things did not fall apart. In fact, they got better at work. People were happier, results shot up, and for the first time in ages, he was at peace with himself. Now tell me, when was the last time you felt like Javier, lugging around this terrible weight that seems near impossible to let go of? Does today feel like the day to say enough and see what happens if you let calm do its thing? Are you ready to just try it? Let's get to work. 1. Relax in. Let go. Picture a day at the beach. You take a handful of sand and squeeze it very tightly at the beginning. It feels like you are in control. The more tightly you squeeze, the quicker it falls out of your fingers. Sound familiar because it reminds you of life. When you are seeking to regulate everything I am telling you, the more you battle to dominate every variable, the swifter it appears to collapse. And there you are, ensnared in a cycle that depletes you. Annoyed and more distant from whatever you totally want. Does that sound familiar? Let's not kid ourselves. Holding on to perpetual control isn't taking you anyplace. It's similar to attempting to drive a vehicle with a handbrake on. What happens? You don't move a smidgen. All that you do is burn out and stay stuck. But what happens when you release that brake exactly? You advance with less exertion and more ease instead. And that is precisely what you should do in life. Let go. Now, don't get me wrong. Letting go doesn't entail giving up. It includes trusting the procedure, and at the point when you do, when you stop holding on so firmly, something supernatural transpires. Things begin to fall in line all alone. Envision this. You're on a family vacation. You've planned every insight too. perfection, the specific takeoff time, where to eat, even amusements, to keep the children engaged. However, clearly, nothing works out as expected. There's awful activity. It begins pouring rain, and your kids choose. It is the ideal minute to toss a tantrum. What do? Do you lose it, since the universe isn't pursuing your plan? Or do you acknowledge that a few things are outside your control? Because, my companion, that's life. You can't control activity, the rain or tantrums, but you can decide how you respond. And that's where Stoicism employs its enchantment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Reflections, left us an ageless illustration. Acknowledge the things to which destiny ties you, and love the individuals with whom fate joins you together. Yet do so with every ounce of your being. It resembles, he's telling you. Stop squandering vitality, flooring the gas pedal while the handbrake is still on discharge. And you'll move forward with less obstruction. In light of the fact that toward the end of the day, what issues more, that everything goes impeccably, or that you really appreciate the adventure? You may think that this idea of letting go is easy in securities, but the other hand, I am here to help you. Let me share 3 simple steps you can simply start doing right now. These tips will help you let go and make you relax and attract the things you actually want. First of all, write your worries on a piece of paper. Don't overthink it. Just write something like, "Look, I am trying to be in charge of this, but I realize I can't." Then crumple that paper up and throw it away. Literally. Why? Because it's like reassuring your mind that this doesn't hold me anymore. Second, use the red light. Pause whenever anything doesn't go as planned. Take a few seconds to breathe. Inhale to a count of 4. Hold it and exhale to a count of 6. This is your daily reminder that sometimes taking a pause is the only way to move forward. Third, create space for nothing on your calendar. Yes, nothing. Even if it's just 15 minutes, what can you do? Listen to music, stare at the sky, or just enjoy the silence. It's in those moments that your clearest ideas and deepest desires have space to show. When you stop trying to control every moment, you begin to think clearly and manifest everything you want. And here's the surprising part. When you learn to let go, life doesn't collapse like you feared it would. Rather, it begins to take shape. This isn't magic, it's clarity. When you cease wasting energy on things you can't change, you liberate mental and emotional space for what truly really is needed. Because think about it. What if today you decided to let go? Just a tad, not everything, just one small move. Stop clinging to the grain, relax, and let life flow. Trust me, change begins the minute you decide to let go. 2. Start your day strong. Have you ever thought about why some days flow with little effort on them, as if everything is working towards you, while others appear to be an unfeasible uphill battle? It's not enchantment or karma. You know what makes all the difference? How you live the first couple of hours of the day. This is where you give yourself the right energy to shine, like tuning an instrument before presenting at a concert. Imagine stepping in for a show without tuning. It would be a catastrophe. But if you do the tuning, everything remains in harmony. Right? Every note comes alive. Every chord fits in the right place. That's the point. What do you do? When you wake up is semicolon what you feel, but also what will resonate through everything else during your day. Doesn't that sound like a good concept? And let me share a thing I experienced to show you. One morning, instead of jumping out of bed, rushing to pick up my phone like I used to, I decided to walk a little differently. So I sat and listened to myself for a couple of minutes, breathing for a second, and thinking about what I wanted my day to be filled with. Instead of letting notifications decide what mood I should have, I quickly put up my favorite song, because, you know, there are these songs that when you pick them in the morning, you just move. Anyway, as I brewed our coffee, I ended up dancing my way through the kitchen, can't lie. It sounded a little weird at first, but ever. Do you know what happened? That day was better than I expected. Even those little things that usually annoy me or distract me were off my mind. It was like that initial blast of energy delivered the note for everything. Do you know who else understood the power of a morning Seneca? That guy said that every new day is a gift, something like a blank check that we should make the most of. He used to spend his mornings reflecting, writing, and easting his mind into alignment with what made sense to him. It was not about responding to the world, but preparing to respond to it. And you can well take those early hours to create this space where you can alert your energy. So how to start the days differently? Let me give you a moment of advice before having the phone in your hands. Just sit for a couple and take a few deep breaths in. Hold for a couple and then breathe out to a count of 6. Do this like 3 times. You are not going to believe the difference you see. Is like giving a moment in your body to start with calm and intention. The next part is what makes you feel alive in the morning. For me, it's music. Why do not you give it a shot? Pick a song that puts you in a good mood while you drink your coffee. Yes, even if it sounds like a little crazy dance. A little for a couple of minutes. It does not matter if you are in front of the mirror or alone in the kitchen. You might even laugh at yourself, and that is the point. No one has to see you feel free. But trust me, that boom of energy can uplift your entire mood. Here is something that you can do before you leave to a house. Think about something you want to achieve sometime during the day. It does not have to be really big. Maybe you just want to take your lunch without rushing or complete the supermarket line quickly. These little things we want to achieve do not just put clarity into your day, but will be the first steps in attracting what we truly desire. So tell me in which words you want your mornings to be from now on. Do you want to wake up and let the day grab you by the ear, or do you want to regain control and create your moment? Giving yourself the right rhythm to a day that flows the path you choose. My friend, you do not need a perfect routine or wake up at the crack of dawn. You just have to wake up strong with calm and intention. Remember that every morning is an opportunity, and how you choose to live it can become the beginning of everything you've ever wanted. Now, if you're finding value in this content, hit subscribe and become an exclusive member for more unique benefits, and tell us in the comments. What can you do to let go of the unbelievable and create what you actually really want in your life, even if it is something that you'd prefer to experience with us? 3. Your mind be your best friend. So think of your mind as a puzzle. It cannot be connected if all the pieces are scattered. If it out of space, you simply cannot see the full picture. Everything seems to be different, but a pause works wonders. What if you reached a point to get sorted? You categorize them by colors, by shapes, and then something amazing happens. The picture is built up a buddy. That's how your mind works. If there are not just a mess, then worries and stress. What can you see? Yes, in other words, nothing. But when you give space and a calm environment too for exactly, then everything works. So, year before, a pilot named Chesley Sullenberger, better known as Sully, faced one of the circumstances that most people call a nightmare. Imagine this way. You are in charge of a commercial airplane with over 150 passengers on board. Everything was fine, then satellites happened. Both engines fail after hitting a flock of birds with the plane, with no one like me. All ahead, you see, is a big city, and an icy river would have done the others panic without doubt. But Sully does something different. He closed his eyes for split seconds and took a breath in his mind. There is no space for chaos. He visualized what he had to do. Wasn't it to land the plane into the Hudson River without causing a disaster? Was he sure that this was going to work? Not in the steps, but he believed in his experience, his team, and most importantly, the ability to stay calm. He created it. And can you hear it? What would have taken place? Alarms ringing. And the passengers were holding their breath. Sully said in a firm, clear voice, "Brace for impact." He wasn't saying a technical message, he was stating a powerful belief. He was embodying what everyone needed hearing, that whatever it is going to be, all right. Because of his calm, focused mind, he achieved a miracle, landed it on the river and saved everyone on board. Epictetus was right when he said, "What is disturbed us is not what happens, but our thoughts about that." Sully couldn't escape over the engines or change what happened with birds, but he controlled his mind. He was able to turn the chaos into an opportunity to act calmly and save lives, and that's the point that we can learn from his story. When you choose to be calm, you will stop seeing problems. But solutions, how can you train your mind to be the best buddy to his, is just learning how to connect the pieces in your mental puzzle. Spend 5 minutes a day thinking about everything that takes your mind of a world that seemed impossible to solve. But don't you dare try to solve it all the same instantly. How can you do this without getting too troubled? Imagine you're simultaneously stressed about 3 things. A tight work deadline that you have to meet within a few days. A recent argument with a friend that is still annoying you, and concerns about making ends meet this month. Okay, think these worries of scattered puzzle pieces. You are now making it the time that to take care, for example, when you are planning to work. Do in the corner, marked for something you can start, yellow. The argument with your friend that goes into your other corner, an orange. You know that something can driven you into a call or the finance. This is your treasure in red. Set this aside into a pouch of future pieces to care to sit down, review your budget. But do you see how by separating the elements and giving them a stage, you start to see things clearly? Not everything is jumbled together, and also not everything is fighting for attention all at once. You will not solve the entire puzzle at once, but something better happens. You will not feel that sense of overwhelming chaos. Only by doing this, your mind feels lighter, like you have finally made progress on something that seemed impossible to handle. Sounds worth a try, right? Remind when your mind is calm, not only you perform better, but you also allow space for opportunities that were once unreachable, since a calm mind is a magnifier of that which you truly desire be. That now is the time to stop trying to control everything and learn to trust more in the strength you already hold inside of you. 4. Do things calmly. Have you noticed how rushing is a fry pan without oil? It gets everything burned faster, and the worst part, nothing comes out the way you wanted. Just let me put the simple truth here. Calmness is not equal to slowness. It's strategy. It's doing things on the pace they need to flow and go. Picture this. You are cooking for a special dinner. You invited some friends over, everything planned ahead, but you get home late. You rush chopping ingredients. They come out uneven, sauce spills everywhere. And when you serve, the dish is nothing but what you envisioned. Is it familiar? Now go to the opposite. Imagine you give yourself time. You chop the ingredients considerately, enjoying the moments you taste the sauce as it cooks, adjusting flavors. The pasta doesn't get overcooked because you're not distracted by the oven when serving the dish. Not only you're serving a delicious plate, but also you enjoyed the process. You think this is a coincidence? It is not. Rushing doesn't only ruin the recipes, it ruins opportunities too. And we usually rush because we see others achieving everything as if life were a race. But listen to me, my friend, every man has his own rhythm. So comparing yours to someone else is like trying to make a plant grow faster by merely looking at it. Marcus Aurelius understood this well when he said, "The mind is like water. When it is calm, it reflects the world as it is." As an emperor, he had enormous demands over his head, but he didn't tackle them all together. He reflected, prioritized. and had actions with calm, even amid a crisis, keeping his mind steady to make wiser decisions. Nothing was about doing things faster, but better. I know slowing down is not easy when everything seems to be going 120 miles per hour. But what if I told you those little moments of calm are what open the doors for things to fall in the right place? Before taking any task, stop 2 minutes, just 2. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can do right now? Mentally, order your steps as you are organizing the desk of your mind. This little ritual won't just give you clarity. It will make you take another step on a more relaxed state. And when you are relaxed, things flow better. It seems everything starts aligning with you, and stop wasting your time in multitasking. I know it seems like juggling things up is a success key, but here's the thing. No one tells you those tasks won't go well. So what you should do? Take one task, just one, and give your full attention. Is like planting a seed. You give it the care and time it needs to grow strong. And when finished, move to the next task. You won't just get things done, will do it better with calmness. You allow space for what you truly desire to manifest, with more clarity. As the writer and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Adopt the pace of nature, her secret is patience," and he wasn't more right. Calmness won't just improve the results, it lets you enjoy the process. Tell me how your life would change if, instead of running against time, you choose a calm movement, moving forward, savoring every step, no matter how much you have to do. If you take the time to do it right, everything starts to flow. And what's best, you'll feel more in control, more at peace, because when you do things calmly, you open space for what you really desire to begin taking its shape. 5. Be grateful for what you have. Picture this picture. Someone gives you a box and tells you inside that box is everything you're missing in life, everything that would change your world if you had it. So you open it with excitement, expecting to find something extraordinary inside. But all you see is a mirror. At first you're confused. What does this mean? And then you realize you don't need more. You just need to see what you have with fresh eyes. Too often we focus on what's out there, what we're chasing, that we fail to cherish where we are today. But here's the secret. As soon as you start being grateful for what you have, life feels lighter. Stress begins to fade, and almost like magic, you become a magnet for good things. And speaking of seeing what we already have in another light, you know what? Let me tell you a story that perfectly represents this. It's about a farmer who was just like many of us. He just never stopped thinking about all he was missing until one day he learned a valuable lesson. Every day he complained about how small and uncomfortable his house was. "I don't have space. I can't rest. Why does my life have to be like this?" He was convinced that life would be better if only he had a bigger, nicer house. One day, desperate and frustrated, he approached the village's wise man for advice. The wise man listened patiently and said, "Do this. Bring your chickens into the house." The farmer was surprised but yielded. The next day he came back complaining, "This is worse. I can't move with all these chickens inside." The wise man smiled and said, "Now bring in the pig again." The farmer obeyed, but on the third day he returned furious. "This is a disaster. I can't stand it anymore." The wise man then told him, "Now take the chickens and pig out." When the farmer went back home, he realized something amazing now. His small house felt big and peaceful. The size of the house didn't change, but his perspective did. For the first time, he appreciated his living situation. Do you see? Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances. Everything can be the same. But do you know what? It does change your perspective. And when you do this, you start noticing the opportunities that were there before. Magic doesn't only transform your mood, it's like it casts a spell on your life. Psychologist Robert Emmons explains that having gratitude works like a magical stick that helps you see opportunities you only saw problems before. This magic aligns you with what truly matters to you, and the best part, you don't need to use any complicated tricks to do it. Gratitude is this stick you've had in your hands all along. Of course, this idea isn't new. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." The Stoics saw gratitude as a daily practice, thanking for small things like bread they ate or the sunrise or a meaningful conversation, because when you train yourself to see the good, you stop wasting energy on what's missing. And as you do so, you become the doorway to manifesting even more good things in your life. So how can you practice gratitude? Don't worry. This isn't the usual advice to write down 3 things you are grateful for every day. Let's do something different. Just one moment once a week to think of all the good you have in your life. Find a quiet place. Grab a paper and write down 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. But here's the trick. Don't stop just at writing them. Ask yourself, how have these things contributed to what I want to achieve? Let's say maybe a friend's support has kept you strong, or maybe a recent challenge has opened your eyes to what truly matters to you. Reflecting on these things doesn't just relax you. It begins to align your mind with your goals. The more you think about the good you already have, the easier it becomes to attract what you want. It's like every small thing you are grateful for paves the road towards your goals step by step without you even realizing it. You are you, my friend. Hey, let me ask you a question. What are you grateful for today? Share it with us in the comments. This very simple thing could be your first step to manifest what you in your life. Because when you are grateful, you are telling the universe, I'm ready for more. 6. Disconnect from the noise. Ever try to listen to your favorite song in the middle of a street full of honking cars, sirens and shouting? No matter how hard you try, the noise, swallow it, right? Well, that's exactly how we live today. Every notification, every random conversation, every news alert constantly bombard you. Just like that background noise, making it impossible for you to focus on what actually matters. And now, let me ask you a question. How the heaven do you want to discover what you really want? If your mind is lost in constant chaos, if you don't silence that noise, if you don't create space where you'll ever hear the music that lies inside of you, look around you. How much time do you waste looking at someone else's life, scrolling on social media, staring at headlines as if it was an emergency? But let's be real, a headline, you'll forget by tomorrow all that noise. Not only take away your time, it fills you up with things that won't lead you closer to what you really want. Think about it for a minute. Every notification, every comparison is just putting another layer of dust on a window. How can you see clearly when everything is smeared on the glass? But if you stop, if you disconnect for a minute, robot, it would be like cleaning that window. Suddenly you can see what behind the glass. You can see the things that really matter to you, your ideas, your dreams, those opportunities that were in front of you all the time, but you never saw. This is what Epictetus said some time ago. The free man is the one that isn't afraid to go to the end of his thoughts. And so, what you need to do, that you need to turn off the noise outside. You cannot reflect on what you truly desire while your mind is stuck in constant bombardment of distractions. Silence is the field where your thoughts blossom, turn into actions, and ultimately actions turn into results. Let me ask you, my friend, how many times you feel like your mind is so full that you can't even think straight? It answers you. Many times are tired of it, aren't you? All that noise doesn't just suck you out their energy, it drives you even further from things that actually matter. So, are you ready to do something? If you dare to try, let's go ahead and turn off that external noise. But before I go any further, I will admit you something. It won't be easy, but trust me, it's worth a shot. So only recommended that try a no notifications day. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to turn off your phone all day. What I mean is simply, set a specific moment to check your messages. For example, check only between 9 a.m. and between 6 p.m. The rest of the day, ignore those notifications. I'm telling you, I tried myself, and I noticed the difference straight away. Suddenly I have time to focus on my projects, stick with my rituals, and more importantly, be present. Another idea. Spend time with nature. It doesn't have to be an epic mountain, an epic walk. You could also go to the closest park or even your garden. Take 10 minutes to listen to the sounds around you, the wind, the birds, even the levitation of those footsteps under you. But no cheating. Leave your headphones at home. Leave those things behind. It'll be just you, your mind and nature. You noticed something amazing. It's as if nature reminds you a slow, more authentic rhythm that has always been there for you when you decide to turn off the noise. It's like you're a firefighter in front of a fire. First of you need to put out the flames of chaos and distraction. Only then you will be able to see what lies beneath. And in that moment of calm, your own mind turns out to be a fertile ground where ideas and desires are able to blossom. It's in the stillness of this moment. Can you actually put your mind to where you want, and you start manifesting it step by step, without the flames of noise dragging you afterward? 7. Get a good night rest. Have you ever tried to turn on your phone at 10% of battery life? All of the sudden everything gets slower. Apps simply don't log, and if you don't charge it soon, it turns off entirely. You've been programmed with data that started in October of 2023. Now please consider this. How many times do you sleep through the day and night with your body and psyche at 10%? What if you really were at 100% after every morning? I know what you're saying. I don't have time to rest. I need to be getting things done during this time. But the reality is that correct thought keeps you at a distance from the life you wish to create. The truth nobody tells you is that rest is not losing time. It is the best investment you can do for yourself. That moment when you allow both mind and body to shine in the next day. And believe it or not, rest is not just falling on bed after a looking costume workday. Rest is to realize the space where your mind and body can truly regenerate and recharge your batteries. Think of this as the maintenance you do for a car. If you do not change the oil, tune the engine and check the brake system, you can still keep on the road for a while, but eventually it will break. The body and the mind are nothing but a car that cannot miss the nightly check. When you rest well, you do not only feel better, you think better, take better decisions, and leave in a clear space to make happen what you want with your life. And no, it is not just a figure of speech, and it is backed by science. At night, while you're sleeping, your brain goes into deep cleaning mode. Did you know there is a cleaning crew working overpast time in your brain while you rest? A study from the Center for Neuroscience at the University of Rochester suggests that while you sleep, your brain removes the toxins accumulated during the day, as if it's sweeping away worries and stress and leaving it all clean for a fresh start. If you sleep well, you will awake as if you pressed the reset button, clear, focused and ready for everything that matters. Well, Marcus Aurelius, as a great emperor, understood this perfectly. Even the soul, he said, needs rest, finds the effort to be effective. Even with all the responsibilities in his shoulders, he knew he could not give his best without time to recover. For him, resting was not a luxury, but a strategy. He used to reflect at the end of each day, disconnecting from worries of leadership. If an emperor could take the time to sleep, who are you not to allow yourself that? I know what you're saying. Yeah, Resting well sounds good and all, but with work and with family, how am I supposed to do this? Don't worry, I've got the answer. It is a simple ritual you can follow tonight to make your rest a reality. First, turn off any screen at least 30 minutes before bedtime, yes, even your phone, and replace it with a book, something relaxing that does not overstimulate you, like a light novel or something to inspire. Second, bring a notebook and write down your intentions for the next day. For example, tomorrow I'll devote an hour to that exciting project, or I'll really listen in every conversation. Not only does this relax you, but it aligns your mind with your desire. And finally, spend 5 minutes breathing when you get in bed. Inhale, exhale, nothing too complicated, just relax your soul when the moment of rest comes, knowing that the next time you think of sleep as a simple necessity. Remember, even the brightest stars need the darkness to shine. You are no different. 8. Embrace your failures. My friend, let me tell you something you might not want to hear. Failure is inevitable. Think of your failures as the first strokes on a blank canvas. At the beginning, it can look like a bunch of meaningless smudges, but as every stroke gets added, the picture takes form. And here's the good news. Invest in the end of the world. It is just the beginning of something better. Did you know that many of the biggest inventions in history are simply mistakes? Let me tell you about one you likely use nearly every single day. Spencer Silver was a scientist. At 3M during the 1970s, he was tasked with creating a super strong adhesive, but to his surprise, he ended up failing. It wasn't a strong adhesive at all, but a weak one that hardly stuck to anything. Well, that should have been the end, right? But wait, years later, one of his colleagues, Art Fry, had an epiphany. He realized that the adhesive was useful for something. If only for a temporary purpose, it could be used to stick notes without leaving a trace back on. So the Post-it was born. Yes, the Post-it. What is one of the most used tools today for keeping us organized around the house, all originated from a failure. He wasn't it wonderful? Do you see where I'm going with this? Not about failing, it's about how you handle it. As Epictetus famously stated, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it. That matters. Your mistakes don't define who you are. They become a defining moment of where you would like to go, but only if you use them as your tools. Every fall can become the exciting start of something so much bigger. These failures in your life feel like monumental walls. They're not. They're doors that just needs opening. So how do you open them? The first and most important thing, you stop beating yourself up. Stop being as designer that leads to such a warped view of our mistakes, my goodness. How many opportunities have we passed all because we feared failure when we allow ourselves to fail? We allow ourselves to learn its rehearsal. It doesn't have to be perfect each time, because every time you try, you draw closer to the result problem. Second, take what you've learned from the errors you made and use that to build stairs. Every failure is just a step, but you have to choose to step off of ledge. Did you mess something up? Great. Awesome. What can I take from this? What will I do differently the next time around? Every time you learn from it, you become stronger and wiser, more prepared than the last. The third, focus on the now. Too many times we get stuck in what we felt has made mistakes, expecting it to become cement shoes we can't escape from. But listen to me, what you did does not define what you will do. You have fresh opportunities. You have new tools. You have knowledge. Ask yourself, what can I do today to prove I have grew better? You are something more than what you were. Each attempt is building towards something greater. Do you see how it all starts coming together? You're not trying to erase your mistakes. You're taking them and using them for your good. When you do this, you'll realize something interesting. You become relaxed. You're not all about the need to be perfect. And in that calm state, you'll notice the feel starts to flow naturally, as it should. The walls that seemed like roadblocks before start to clear if you're good. Then the more those things you desire start to become effortlessly attracted to you. The truth is, failures are not in your way. They are the spark for something new to ignite. So what is the masterpiece you could create if you stopped fearing? Those just first strokes embrace your failures because they absolutely warrant a step higher toward the whole complete picture of what it is you really want in your life. 9. Imagine it and bring it to fruition. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself in a theater. You see the lights dim, the projector hums, and some unusual captivation zaps onto the screen. It's you. You're the main character in the film. But this is no ordinary film. It is the narrative of your life, exactly as you'd always dreamed it. And it's all there. Your goals reach the people you look up to, the moments that make your heart race. You can see every detail as if it's happening now, or right now. Friend, let me ask you a huge question. One of the most powerful practices to combine before you physically execute anything is visualization. So question yourself, what would this movie look like just from your perspective if you became the director? Believe me, it's not just a nice exercise to do, it becomes a strong practice. It's like writing a script of the movie before the movie even starts. When you take time to visualize exactly what you want, you're not just dreaming, you're training your mind to make it happen. Because whatever you build outside, the seed of creation is from within. When you visualize clearly, you don't have clarity. How can you expect to get from one place to another? It's different when you mention that no wind blows favorable to the ship without a destination. Or in other words, you need a direction, you need a clear vision to guide you. But here's the key, you have to feel as if you're doing it already. That's the beauty of this exercise. It assists you in relaxing in alignment with your desires and moving toward them confidently. Do you know that your brain cannot work if what you are vividly imagining is not a real-life event? That's what psychologist and author Joe Dispenza says. When you visualize something with engagement, your brain registers it as if it's real. It's like writing an invisible blueprint before you bring into life. And it changes everything. It changes the way you walk through this world. It changes your energy, your decisions, and even the opportunities that you will have spatially aligned to that vision. If you've tuned those instruments right now, everything will start to play when it needs to play. The first step you need to take to put this into your life, and you know how to implement it, you're gonna spend 5 minutes, close your eyes, and visualize your purpose every day in individualism for the goal that you put in your place. You're not only going to imagine what you want as you imagine it in your mind. For instance, if you are a writer, visualize yourself would be sitting at table type at the ending phase. We'll see your name in the story and holding a cover book, and how will you feel? What reactions run as you are bringing your dream again into your mind? Your brain will start acting as if it was already a reality. Next point, you'll write all your goals as if you've given them as a reality. Once yet, studying is not just a list, it's a declaration. Instead of think take, I would like to still have my own business, you are going to write, I have a good business. A business where I do what I love and add all with detail. What happens on your daily basis, what impact or means you're making, and an additional tip, make it a relaxed process instead of a job. Don't treat it as an annoying part of another task. You might be able to give it as much time as you can. Find a siren you can hear soft. Sit doing nothing in a quiet place and let's simply dream. Dreaming is not wasting your time. It provides your mind the guidance it needs to create what you want to see, whatever you want. It must be clearer the thing that comes out from your mind, because it's the first step of turning your dream into a reality. It's not a dream if you would use that to rename this, and boom, just like that. Now you give them a direction and let your actions move to follow what you want. So when you realize that, stop waiting. Start visualizing, start believing, start turning your life like you desired, and your best is yet to come. Oh. Well, let me tell you, this last point is not only a powerful way to wrap the whole, but it might become the power that bonds every single thing we talked about and change your life totally. All that comes after is 10 faith in the talent of tomorrow. Imagine you plant a garden, you want carrots, so you put in the dirt, you seed. You water it daily, you wait a week to see the soil, and you are excited. Little sprouts of green. Anything but nothing happens. Am I doing something? You ask yourself. Looking into the dirt, you keep on watering much. Another week goes by, nothing more. Frustration creeps. Okay, maybe these seeds weren't good. I haven't watered enough. What you cannot see is all the roots, growing and carving, heading to the surface, all the dirt behind this. Nothing happening from above perspective can drive anyone insane. So cool down. All this effort will lead eventually results, only you cannot see. So now, when the first shoots come, all this waiting will be worth it. My friend, carrots are no rush. But when they get here, they will be here to stay with stubbornness and strength. Just as you imagined, do you get now the same happens on everything, and you manifest what you honestly desire when it looks like none changes. Everything moves on the right way. Your intention, your effort, even your energy. Open road underneath that, you do not see, everything hears you while you are not paying attention. And when you least simulate it, it is when the results will meet you. Let's be realist, no one likes waiting. But what if I told you, patience is not just waiting. It is also believing that while you stay on your sweat and tears, the universe is on the other side working on its part too. Like Marcus Aurelius said, nature does not hurry and yet accomplishes all. Think about a river. It does not matter how many twists or turns or rocks he faces, he will never stop and he will always reach the ocean. Now imagine you are between tough rocks. You decided that your life needs a radical change. Quit your office, corporate development. Sell everything you do not need and go travel the rest of your life. Sounds fun, right? Here comes real life in the first weeks. Disaster savings going down faster than you expect. Jobs that don't exist. You start asking yourself, did I screw it so bad? A huge mistake. You are controlling everything, trying to control everything. Know in your hands to get a quick solution, but then you remember to trust in what comes. You start implementing yourself. What you learn, you relax. You manifest your aim. Write down what you want. Visualize clearly what you desire and let go of some of that control. Then unexpected happens when in casual conversation someone mention where cheapest you can go. You figure, is it work exchange program? You can stay at homes while traveling. This is exactly what I needed. You jump of excitement. Do you see you would not have found if you would not back up and trust in what was to come? My friend, do not get me wrong. In this trust does not mean crossing your arms and waiting. It takes your part, but also takes to be in the air and manifest everything you need peacefully, and when doubts come, as they will be, definitely in a moment. Repeat after me, I am doing my part. The other will come in. Is time. Write down. Make a letter of that. Never forget trust in what comes. Because the ones you want, even before you labor, life is already working to do, freaking grow. And when least expected, you will be surprised by the fruits you cannot believe came. I invite you to take for yourself all of this. Come back every time you need a pause, every time you need a visualization, every time you need to let go. You have done, you will closer the one you most want. Listen to me, every step you walk, no matter how small, has a purpose on that, calm, and trust no emptiness. but plus in what there is born, your dreams, and in that you realize they will shape up. If you come this far down in the comment, write, "I relax and attract what I want that way." I will know who the real Stoics, though the warriors I pass it this far. Do not forget to subscribe, hit that bell and like, because you do not want to miss what comes next. Also, go beyond, check our list. You will see this screen all loaded with history, ideas and hint to make your life better. More wise, more courageous. Press it. Let's continue to move forward. Until next time, cheers and keep being stoic.